Welcome to another exciting episode of DERB's Electronic Repair Bench.
Afternoon, YouTube. Here with you on this overcast Thursday morning. I'm back amongst the living, as it were. I have an internet connection now. Seems to be working rather well. Not going to go into a lot of details. Just suffice to say, it's installed and working. And as far as speed, I'm not really impressed as far as the difference between what I had and what I've got now. It seems to be fast enough to, do what it needs to do. So, what else is there, right? It is a dual band router. For those that know what that means, good for you. I have never really understood the complexities of the stuff that they do. I know there's one single cable that connects to the internet itself. In other words, there's only one cable coming into the router. There's not two. So where this dual band comes up, I'm not really sure. This has to be an internal router thing to where it just has two different connections, I guess. One's called 5G. The other one's just, I think it mentioned in the thing that it was 4G, so I don't know how accurate that is. I've got mine connected to the lower speed because I don't really need anything above and beyond that. I figure my grandson's paying for this. He might as well have the high speed. He does the Netflix a lot. He does gaming, online gaming. So, hopefully that will work out for him. So that's really the only thing I'm concerned with is being able to upload and watch videos. And so far that's been good. I haven't actually tried to upload yet, but as far as watching them, I'm fine. It's going to be kind of a catch-up type thing. I haven't been around a while, so other than the short little videos that I've been putting up, and I call those short, Marty. I know you probably don't, but I call them that way. I spent not most of the morning, but a lot of the morning recreating the intro that you just saw. Sony Movie Studio Platinum, or the regular version, either, has to have it works from the files that the raw files, and they have to be available somewhere on the hard drive in order to use those in the intros or whatever video you're making. And I had accidentally erased the one for the video for the sped up one that I created, and this morning I got on and recreated that, and it wasn't really too difficult. The only thing I lost was the video. The music was still there and all the other stuff, so that is good. And I put that in a place where I won't erase it, hopefully. So it's actually got 2 copies of it now. I kind of particularly like that intro, and probably if I had to choose one that I would use over and over all the time, that would be it. There's a couple I like almost as much, but not quite. So I better take a drink of water. Talking a lot. Not used to talking. A couple things I got in the mail since you guys have seen me. These brushes are just what they look like, brushes. And it's hard to see these little small ones, but these are the ones that I plan on using for tube sockets, things like that. The others are, whatever I need them for. But there's 3 there that I think will work for tube sockets, depending on the size of the tube socket. A little alcohol, and those should go a long way in cleaning tube sockets. I've wanted something. Actually, I was going to use pipe cleaners for that, and these came available, or actually I looked online on eBay and found these, and they were actually cheaper than the pipe cleaners, if you can believe that. So, plus these are reusable. I mean, it's not like pipe cleaners, they'll last a while, but they're not going to last forever. So, and these probably won't either, but they'll hold up better than pipe cleaners, I think. So, the other thing I got, and you guys have seen the transformer already. This is the power supply module for it that I ordered from China. I've got a couple things I need to do. This heat sink here, it's going to have to be replaced. That's not near big enough for what this thing is, and so I'm hoping the traces on this are good. I'm going to go over it with a little bit of Scotch-Brite and just make sure all the whatever is off of it. I may build this today, I don't know. I have to get the girls obviously at 3 o'clock, and they will be taking up some time then, I'm sure. But anywho, that's that. I was gonna, like I said, put that together. I even dampened my sponge so that I would have that available, but I may do it later on. I don't know. It'll stay damp for a good while. My phone seems to have worked fine for the uploading and stuff on the when I used it as a hotspot. I don't know that if I ever went over my actual limit. Well, I don't think I did. And if I did, it really wouldn't matter. It just slows down. It's not going to cost any extra. So, haven't really been doing much video. I did the Buick obviously over the weekend, and I think I made one since then. Just something to sort of update you on what I was doing, and that's been about it. I really haven't done much. I've got this condition here on my floor again that, you remember when I cleaned it all up, I told you it wouldn't last, and sure enough, it hasn't. So that's got to be rectified. Oh, the sander. This part here, I'm thinking about using some washers, flat washers. Something that's small enough for I can fit that to the shaft on the center and shape it as I needed to make that hexagon shape there for pentagon, 5-sided, whatever, pentagon there shape, and get that to fit in there and the shaft to fit into the center hole. That should fix this. I don't know that I even need to what's the word? I'll JB weld it to this. I think just fitting it in there, it will hold in there. Okay, I don't think it'll come out. So that's the plan anyway. I've checked different things that I could use. A nut will fit, and I've got no nut now. I used to have a nut. I don't know what happened. So I had a nut laying here. Anyway, it will fit in there. It's a little bit, it makes a little bit of a clicking, you know what I mean? It will turn without actually turning this. So it would have had to been JB welded in there. So what I thought was, the washer idea. And what I'll do is probably stick 4 or 5 of them together with JB weld and clamp those and make sure they're nice and tight, and then shape them as needed. And I'm still thinking about getting the other one for $17.50, and that way I'll have a mold or a piece to go by as far as trying to fix one or see. It may be that that is shaped on a angle going in towards the center there too, because that's shaped that way too. So I really would like to see one in order to make a duplicate, I guess is what I'm saying. So that's in the works. And when I say works, you see how I work. I don't work a lot. I want to get this built though. This is something I want to play around with, and get that all hooked up. I've got 2 transformers coming. Let me go switch to the other excuse me. Let me go switch to the other camera real quick. Alright, as I said, I've got 2 transformers coming. They are 9-volt transformers. As you can see, the AC batteries that I marked 5, 1, and 16 have been in there quite a while, and they still work, but I don't think I use this to as much as I would if it wasn't for those batteries. I tend to use it, turn it on, and use it for whatever I want it for, and turn it off. And that's to conserve batteries. Now, if I didn't have to do that, I probably would use this a lot more. So, and the same goes for the DC over here. I think if I didn't have to worry about the batteries so much, I would definitely use it more. And I think I would like to use transformers. Those little wall warts is what they are. And I bought 2 of them from a U.S. seller and gave $8.18 shipped for both of them. So those will be cheap and easy ways. The only thing I'm worried about really is over voltage, because those you know, just when you get them out of the pack and plug them in, they'll put out quite a bit more than 9 volts. And I tried to find the regulated ones, but they're a lot more expensive. So I figure, if nothing else, I may try to find, I should have some 12-volt regulators and put that on. These meters will work up to 12 volts, and I'm sure a little lower that won't hurt them either. But at 12 volts, they should work fine. And I think it's less than 15 milliamps per meter that they're required to operate. So I would say the wall wart will probably put out over 12 volts pretty easy, probably closer to 13, 14 volts. And if nothing else, I can just use 9-volt regulators. It's not a big deal. I'm just trying to find something, the happy medium, to operate those and get away from the batteries at the same time. Now, basically what I'm going to try to do is take the cover off this and just rewire all that to use the wall warts. I have AC coming in. When you turn the power on to the Variac, it comes in here. Same power as you get from the plugs, 120. And those will power, that will just power the wall warts instead of the relay and batteries that I have set up now. And of course I can just use the same wires to feed the meters. I don't even have to change anything down there at all. So that's the plan anyway. And I would like anybody that knows if I can use those same 2 wall warts to power those meters. They're AC and DC. I don't know what the difference is going to be. I know you can't power the same, or 2 meters off the same power supply with these AC meters. So if anybody knows about the DC meters, I'd kind of like to know if it matters whether or not it powers these meters here. You know what I'm saying? And I could get away with just basically having 2 wall warts to do all 4 of those meters. That would be kind of nice. If not, I can go ahead and, you know, get 2 more. Like I said, $8 for 2 is not bad, and go that route. But I just want to get away from the batteries, because I never did like it, but it did work, and I think I was in a hurry to get them working more than anything. And I came up with that relay thing, or whoever, maybe somebody suggested it. I don't really remember, to tell you the truth. But anyway, that's what we did, and it works. And like I said, it's still working. It's just I know if I left that on like I would like to, that those batteries would not last that long. And so that's what I am thinking. Now for this new power supply, this is the 24 volt 4 amp. Well, actually it says 6 amp. I didn't really realize that was a 6 amp. Oh, 4 amp max, I see it now. Okay, yeah, 4 amp transformer. This is the big honker right here, 8 amp. That's what we're looking at. I'm going to use meters for it too, but I'm going to use analog meters. I've already found a couple very suitable ones. The voltage goes to, I believe, 50 volts, and the current goes to 10 amps. So this is supposed to put out 8 amps, so that should be fine. With the analog meters, I won't have to worry about batteries or power supplies or anything like that. So I think that'll be a better situation. Now the meters themselves are going to take up a little more space, so going to have a bigger enclosure. Of course, I'm going to have to have a bigger enclosure for that honking transformer anyway. And the heat sink that this thing requires is going to be basically one from a CPU of a computer, and I may even put the fan on it because they say that really needs a good heat sink. So that's what we're going to do, and if I can find me a box that will fit it. And like I said, the box is going to have to be fairly big. It's going to have, in addition to the transformer, the power supply and the heat sink. So, and then the meters. So, and then there'll have to be binding posts, obviously. So, got to look into that a little bit more. I've got the metal from the old space heater that I have out in the garage. It's still out there. I could make one out of that pretty easy. It would have to have probably a wood frame, and I'm not really crazy about that, but you know, at the same time, you know, it wouldn't hurt anything. If I could find some, I tell you what, it would be good is something like the erector sets. You remember, you guys, older guys probably remember erector sets, and something like that type of girders and things like that. If you could find that and make that for your corner pieces and things like that, and then just cover it with the steel from the space heater, I can cut that to any size I want with a grinder. So that would be kind of a neat thing to have, a custom built one like that. I want to build one for this too, for Bobby's power supply. It's going to be basically the same, only his is regulated and current limited, and that would be helpful as well. Now this one's not going to be current limited, it will be regulated. If you guys watched that video that I posted, I think I posted a link to it, I'm not really sure, but that for this power supply module, it takes a while to recover, and after you use it for a certain thing, it doesn't want to go back up to the full power and things like that. But anyway, it's not a big problem, I don't think. So, anywho, I'm getting tired of talking here. This has gone on way too long, and I know it, you know it. So what we're going to do is close this out. And sorry about the long flap, but you know, I've got the bandwidth now to it, so you guys know I'm going to do it if I got it. So hoping to get back to the Buick, not this weekend but next weekend. I have the sanding block, the flexible Durablock sanding block is supposed to be in the mail today, and so that will be here. The paper that I'm going to be using it with is a roll paper. It's $21 shipped. It's 320 grit, and a lot of people have said should try to wet sand it instead of just dry sanding it. I may do that and see how that comes out. So that's where we're at with that, and Kylie is anxious to do that. She's stated many times since I've seen her here lately that she wants to get that white paint on there and see what that looks like. So I'm anxious for it too, but I don't want to do it too quick, you know what I mean, and mess something up. I just this is not going to be a perfection job, but at the same time I want it to kind of look nice, and that's the whole purpose of doing this, is make it look nicer than it was. And again, it's not going to be show quality, everybody knows that, but you know, at the same time it will look pretty decent and good enough for a driver. And so that's what we're aiming for. At some point in time, I'm going to have to... let me get back to the camera. Okay, so as I was saying, at some point in time, I'm going to have to consider the engine work on the Buick that needs to be done to make it a driver. Now, it will run now, and I can drive it like from here to my daughter's house. She lives, I think, 14 miles away. That's road miles. It's not as a crow flies, but you know what I mean. And I haven't actually put the gauges on it, but I'd like to have the gauges put on it. And what I'm going to do is just temporarily mount them on the dash, on top of the dash, and just so I can see what's going on when I drive it. I'd like to know about the water temperatures, mainly, you know, to see if it's overheating. That's going to have to be addressed, and for that to be addressed, the heads have to come off. Of course, the intake has to come off, and on both the heads from the exhaust headers. I don't think I can do it. I don't really have the strength in my arms to remove head bolts anymore, even with a big long breaker bar. I don't think I can. But I do have a grandson that can. I have a son-in-law that can help. But I don't want to do it at a point where our situation here is a little bit sketchy at the moment. I think our landlord has sold the building, and of course he hasn't said one way or the other, but we did see it on one of the realtor sites as a sale is pending. So kind of like to have an assurance that, you know, I don't have to tow it somewhere. I don't want it to be a part, and I want it to be drivable, so that I can drive it to wherever I have to move to or whatever. And so that's one of the considerations I have on it. But I think, I'm pretty sure I can get away with just taking and making sure the heads are true, they're not warped. Checking the valves for bent valves. I don't believe there are any bent valves. It runs fine. It has a little to it, if you guys have heard it run. That's part of that head gasket leak, I do believe. I used some of the block sealer to keep the compression out of the cooling system, I think is what I've done. And I think that part is made where it'll run cooler and run, you know, like fairly normal. But there's still some leakage into the exhaust or something to make that puffing noise. I haven't actually done a compression test. I need to do that. Hopefully that would tell me which side it's on, maybe, or something like that. I have all the heater stuff to make the heater work. Just have to put that back in. I have the stuff to make the windows, put the windows back in the front doors, and I can do that. I'm just trying to do these things, you know, as they come. I wanted the top done because it may come to be that I have to sit this thing outside, and if that comes to be, I'd like to have a fairly decent paint job on there to where it won't rust anymore. So the rest of the body I don't think is going to be affected by just sitting outside that much. Now driving it with road salt, things like that would, but I think just sitting outside, I don't think it would bother it that much. But anywho, that's some of the things I've got to do on it to get it at that driver stage. And so that's kind of the things we're looking forward to on it, and that's why we're working on the top now. I know some of you guys think it's odd the way I'm doing this, but I do have a plan, and it's trying to stick to it. So the only part of the plan I've really kind of messed up on was those windows. I wanted to get those windows completely done. Bought the weather stripping and everything to put back in around them, and I just haven't done it. And gonna have to get Kylie to help me on that too. So, but she will. She's a good girl. You all know that. And Lexi's a good girl too. She just doesn't have the interest in that Kylie does. Now she wants to help. In fact, she was complaining the other day to her mother, to her stepmother, I should say, that we won't let her with her help. But what she wants to do is paint. She didn't want to sand. No, that's icky. Don't want to do that. But we've been teasing her a little bit. Like I said, I don't mind her helping, but if you're going to help, and not pick and choose what you want to do. But Kylie gets right in there and does it. And but Lexi at the same time, she's working, so I don't expect her to help with it because she's got a job, and she's got a lot of things on her mind as far as she's a senior in high school and she's got college coming up, and so they've got that to think about. And Kylie's got another year to wait, so she won't be affected until the next year. Now I think, as far as I know, Kylie's going to be here with me in the summer when she, between her junior and senior year, like Lexi did. It worked out pretty good, and I think she's getting a job. I've heard Burger King mentioned quite a few times, so I don't know if that'll be that in Long John Silver. So I don't know. I'm hoping she doesn't go to work at Long John Silver's. I don't know if I could stand the fish smell. But like I said, there's just a couple things that have been thrown around. Of course, it's a little early to even think about it. We're still in the fall, so I know this is going to be long, guys, and I'm really sorry about it, but I just had some things I wanted to say while I had the bandwidth to do it. So this is it. And that you guys have seen the opening, and I'll be back to doing that on the next one. Like I said, I'm going to put this power supply together and try to clean up this bench a little bit and get this thing organized and get back to a normal type of pattern. I'm not going to go back to the way I was doing it. I didn't like the way I was doing it, working or making a video every day. I don't like that. Not that I don't have content to do. I do. I can talk, or I can work. I have projects galore in here. But I don't like the fact that you put up a video every day. You get a little bit, I don't know what the word is, complacent. I don't know, but you just sort of tend to think, oh God, he's putting up a video, another one today. It's just same old crap he works on all the time. And now Mr. Peak, I kind of like to always go back to Mr. Peak. So Mr. Peak has a successful channel, obviously, and he has come up with a formula that works good for him. He makes several videos, maybe 4 or 5 a day, but his videos are usually limited to under 10 minutes. Most of the times they're under 5 minutes. So, you can click on it, watch it real quick, and that's good. And that works. And he's a likable guy. He's usually doing something that's interesting, so I'm kind of trying to find my niche, whatever you want to call it, because I don't think, and I'm not really caring about it that much, but I don't think my channel grows as fast as it could or should. So I think I'm needing to make some changes. You guys can put up any suggestions you want on this. That's fine. You're not going to hurt my feelings. I'm just in this for you guys. Basically, I want to make interesting videos. I want to put up stuff that you guys want to see, and I don't want to bore you to death. And I know Marty's, sitting there probably shaking his head saying, oh my God, shut up. Get on with the ending. And I apologize, Marty, and I'm not doing this, just to antagonize you. It's just that I kind of want to make this a little bit better channel, and, I'm asking for help on doing that. So, you guys, like I say, put your suggestions in the comments. Email me. You guys all know my email address. So, that's all I ask. So, again, sorry for the long video. I just felt like making one because I haven't made one in a while, a long one. So, this is it. And I know Bill understands out there, old 64 goat. He's another one of my role models. I like the way he does his videos, and so there's just some people that I like as far as the way they do things, and Bill's a good guy, and he's been around the block a few times just like me. So that's about that. All I can say about that too. So I am going to close this out. I know you guys probably thought I never would, but I am. So you guys have a great day. Hope it's better than it is here. It's just overcast. It's not really raining right now, but it's a dreary day. So you guys have a great day. Thanks so much for watching. I do appreciate it. We will. See ya.